Welcome to the Sands Show. I'm Tori Sands, and of course, I am ecstatic because today we are actually going to have an all-male panel where we are discussing all things gay. I know it sounds a little funny right now, but we're going to touch on a lot of issues that I think they're very important for us to talk about in the community, of course, and we got some really important people here. Of course, as you know, I'm always very active on Facebook, so that means I've got some Facebook people on here that are, maybe even your friends. They're pretty, famous in their own right here. And so what we're going to do, we're going to introduce them right now. We're going to start off right now with Charles, Too Tall Lyons. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you for being here today.
Yes.
All right. We also got Divo. Detroit's Don Divo, that is.
That's right.
We've also got Tezzie Johnson in the house. You might also know him as Patricia Kai. We've got also Detroit's favorite Potawatomi. It's Geronimo. Yay.
Tree. How you doing?
Okay. And we've also got the birthday boy too. Of course, this is Clifton. How you doing?
Birthday boy.
Tanisha.
All right.
Oh,
okay, So, if you're just tuning in, of course, with us, if you're new to this, make sure you check us out on YouTube.com/TheSanzSHO, of course, SANZSHO, without the W, of course. And Miss Diamond and Cyrus Kingzonos are not with us, but we're doing, or C. Hall, we're doing something a little different today. And like I said, we want to talk about like all things that are, pretty much surrounding our community. And I want to first start off talking about the Black church and how it is, for many, since the beginning of time, I guess, have been so against homosexuals. And it's crazy because I grew up going to a rather diverse church, mixed, ethnicities, everything, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I never ever heard them talk about gay people. But when it comes to the Black church, it always seems to be a big problem. But just recently, there's a church in D.C. that is asking for forgiveness from the LGBT community. And I think it's kind of interesting, a rather unusual event. Recently took place in Washington, D.C., of course, where the church is actually trying to bring in more lesbian, gays, transgendered people, and saying that it was wrong for them to pass judgment. And so that basically, I want to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about that now that they're reaching out to the gay community?
Me personally, growing up in the Kojic church, being bashed, I wouldn't say necessarily bashed, but you can't really fault for somebody for what they believe in. But my whole belief system was completely different than what theirs were because I knew what I felt. But at the same time, I'm thinking, what are you apologizing for? I mean, sometimes it's like you can't apologize for what you were taught. And I don't see what's the issue. Like, what do you apologize for? The thing to do now is actually change. You don't have to apologize to anybody.
I guess the ignorance that's been carried on by the church towards gay people as far as they preaching and what they've been saying about, gay men and women.
Well, as far as I understand it, the people in the church, several churches actually, they had like a kind of like a town hall meeting, and they invited the GLBT community to come in and share things. They're not so much apologizing about their stance on homosexuality. They're just apologizing about how they've been treated. Like they go to church and they're being outcast and blackballed and everything. So
well, I personally was raised Jehovah's Witness.
Knocking on everybody's door.
Close the flag.
Wake up and
get on the floor.
Are you ready for Jehovah's return?
Because if you not in the movies, I got a family.
Panda and a tiger hugging.
No, but I'm just saying from the fact that how gay people are not respected in the church or been disrespected through the church. But as far as Jehovah's Witnesses, it's something that's not spoke of during any of our talks growing up, and then it was something that's in the household.
Were there any openly gay members of your kingdom?
There is no such thing as openly gay, openly anything. Everybody has to be conservative.
Yeah,
but that didn't stop me from embracing the religion and God's principles. So.
I'm grateful for the church that I go to because
the church I grew up in, my pastor died. And when he did, it was just like, everything slowly but surely started to change. And it was just like, being gay, I never really 100% completely felt comfortable in that church unless he was the pastor. So it was like, because I mean, he didn't focus on what you were or what you weren't. He just wanted to know that you was showing up and you got the word, which was important to me. But the church that I go to now is, I'm going to say, I can say that they are gay friendly. Oh. They don't, you have a lot of, you know, you can recognize a lot of gay people in the church, and they don't get talked. I mean, if they do get talked about, so what? It's not made out to be a big issue, at least not with the pastor and the heads of the church, which I think is important because he gets the message that I've been trying to understand what other churches have been missing. Like, okay, you don't want this person coming to your church because you're gay, but the Bible teaches us to embrace one another and not hold a sin against the person. Like, if you go not invite me to your church for being gay, or you go look at me funny for coming up in your church and being gay, why you not looking funny at this dude over here for just, you know what I'm saying, cheating on his wife last week, sleeping with a hooker? Or why you not chastising this person over here for, you know what I'm saying, back talking to their parents, you know what I'm saying? What makes me, you know what I'm saying, y'all number one target?
Or having
that's
kids
not
a wedlock too.
Right. Then it comes to, with that being said, are they losing out on money?
That's what I was going to bring up. That's bad business. It's
all about the gay people leaving. So, because think about it, a gay person not going to sit. Somebody who's like comfortable with themselves not going to sit in the church and direct the choir if they're being called a fag. They're not going to play on that organ if they're being called a fag, or they're not going to play on the drums if they're being called a fag. So when all those people leave out of your church, of course you're going to apologize. You're going to sit there and say, oh, I want y'all back, because they're losing out on money.
Right.
They're losing out on money. Church now is being ran. Church now is being ran like
or that church faction.
When you go to a church, like even if I sit in a church and you got evangelists up there, over here a $5 line, over here a $10 line, over here a $30 line, $1,000 line over here.
That's why I said I like and I respect the church that I go to, because my pastor, he ain't for none of that. He ain't for none of that. You're not gonna come to him and you can't come up here and say, do you know that such and such is lesbian, or you know such and such is gay? So what? That's their business. You know, so they still come here, they still trying to get the word. Why are you worried?
Well, I think all churches need to go ahead and embrace this thing, because to me it's fucking
if you can embrace,
you know, as far as going to church is about, like you said, adulterers go to church, sinners go to church, and they're preaching about change and changing your life and giving your life over to the Lord. So what is going to be their approach to a gay person or gay people? You know, what you going to tell me to change my life? You know, from what I feel comfortable and natural to me.
Well, you know, they just need it. Since they a lot of people, practically every fucking Christian that I've ever met.
Hey, wait a minute.
I said practically. I didn't say all. They choose what they focus on and what they pay attention to in the Bible, and you know, they'll be like, well, the Bible's the word, the Bible's the word, da 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 da. I was like, but bitch, you shaved your beard, you eat shrimp, you know, what the hell? I mean, did you, like, you know, sell your daughters into slavery?
Or they have 9 different fabrics on, but okay.
You're like, oh shit, you got a polyester blend on. Bitch, you're going to hell. You know, it's all types of shit. Go ahead.
Because they can accept the thief who's stealing out of the church's money. They can accept that. Oh, forgive me.
But if I like to suck dick and get fucked,
it's a big issue.
Yeah, I just think people don't read the Bible properly, and they get out of it what they want.
Okay. So, yeah.
That's why I'm glad I'm an atheist. I don't have to deal with that bullshit.
I mean, I'm proud to you know, believe in something, because I do believe there is a God. You know, I felt the spirit, all that other stuff. You know, like, I've been there. So to say that I don't, you know, but still at the end of the day, it's about inclusion.
Okay. All right, well, I understand that, yeah, and that's a discussion that I think will go on for a while, too. So make sure you guys at home, if you're watching this, make sure you chime in and let us know what you think, your opinions, of course, at Facebook and also YouTube, youtube.com/TheSanzSHO. And let me just read this before we go to a break. Although a sincere apology is often the first step to restoring a fractured relationship, our culture has made a public apology into a performance art. Of course, characterized by carefully scripted PR creations and only token acknowledgement by actually having done wrong. So make sure you check that out. We'll be right back with more right here.